This past weekend, we just got another installment into James Gunn's DC universe in the form of Supergirl 2026. It was going to be called Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, just like the comic. They brought it back down to just Supergirl, and it was it was something, to say the least. In this video, I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to give my review to the Supergirl movie, my thoughts, my reactions, what I liked, what I didn't like, and a final ranking review at the end. But before we do that, this is what I do and this is what I talk about. I love talking about movies, both new and old. One of those genres that always comes up for me is the superhero genre because I really do care about these movies. I care about DCU, Marvel, these characters, so I talk about them quite a bit. Apart from that, I love talking about fantasies, so think Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, stuff like that. And I've been on a Hunger Games sort of watch party as well, going through all the Hunger Games movies, preparing for the new Haymitch movie. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, please check out my channel and see if there's anything else that you like. Any sort of support, whether it be a like, subscription, anything like that, it helps out a lot more than you guys know, so thank you. Like I said, the James Gunn's DCU is expanding. I think this is the second movie. That being said, it's very unfortunate that this is the second movie because the Supergirl movie was not that great. I'll warn you right now that there are mild spoilers throughout this, so if you haven't seen it yet and you wanted to watch this without spoilers, click away and then come back after you see it. Anyways, like I've said this time and time again as I was going through these trailers, I was not excited for this movie, and my suspicions were correct in me not liking this movie. But yeah, like I said, this movie shouldn't have been so early in this James Gunn's DC universe. If something like this came out 8 movies down the line, I think it would have done okay. Obviously, it still has a lot of problems, which I will get into, but it would have been more well received than it is now, being the second movie out of this revamped DC universe. Like, you can't have this be your number 2, especially when it was this mediocre, this bad. A lot of people say. Was it bad? A lot of parts of it were, but it was mediocre at best. So I'll start off with some things that I liked. No. I'll start off. What should I start with? I'll start with the things that I didn't like, and then I'll go into a couple things that I liked before I give my review. But the first thing that I didn't like is that the story overall wasn't that interesting. There were 2 driving factors of this movie. The big one was Crypto, which we'll get to. I have a lot to say about Crypto. And the second one was this 13-year-old girl wanting to get revenge for the murder of random freaking people on a random planet that nobody knows, nameless, and nobody cares about. Those were the 2 main driving factors. Now, if you're like me and find Crypto annoying and hate his guts and want to rip your eyeballs out every time he comes on screen, you are not that invested in this story. A cute dog can only get you so far, and Crypto is not cute. I said this in my Superman review, and every time Crypto was on screen, he was annoying. He's a little shit who ruins everything. I don't find that cute. I really don't. Maybe some people do. Maybe you do. Maybe you think, oh, it's so cute, the dog. He's ruining everything. But no, not me. Like, if a dog was doing that, I'd be like, to the pound for you. Sorry, buddy. And this is a super dog, so it makes his annoyingness even more super. So with Crypto dying the entire movie and trying to get us to cheer for James Gunn's dog, that's what it is. He modeled Crypto after his own dog instead of actual Crypto. You're not that invested of this in this story. That's the whole story. Let's save Crypto. That's not a great story for a superhero movie. Saving a dog is not that's like an afterthought. It's like Superman flying up a tree to save a cat. Like that, if someone made a Superman movie about that, everyone would hate it. It's the same deal for this. And it was like I said, the other part, it was just some random 13-year-old chick who, with my innocent family, my innocent, harmless family. It's like, okay, cool. It sucks that they died, but why do I care about these random people? I don't. So that was my biggest issue, is that the story that we were being dragged along was not that interesting, especially for a superhero movie, especially for the second superhero movie of a revamped DC universe. Give us Wonder Woman, give us Batman, give us Green Lantern or the Flash, someone who has something. Like, Supergirl should have never been the second movie of it. It wasn't an interesting story, period. So that was my biggest issue. Another issue that I had was it wasn't that funny. I saw what they were trying to make it humorous, but at the end of the day, it was like written by a bunch of millennial, middle-aged white women with terrible senses of humor. Like, sure, Supergirl can be witty, but, like, I didn't laugh a single time at any of her little witty, like, punches. Like, it just wasn't that funny overall. The only times I laughed throughout the whole movie was at Superman. Like, that's saying something. It really wasn't that funny. I didn't find Crypto being annoying funny. I didn't really find Kara funny. It just wasn't that funny of a movie. And if it's written by these millennial white women, I can see why it wasn't funny. Is that mean? Probably, but I don't care. The next biggest thing that I did not like was the main big bad, the villain. He wasn't a good villain at all. He was gross. He was eating stuff all the time. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? What is this? It confused me more than anything. He was just sitting down and eating crap left and right every time he was on screen. I'm like, why do I care? That does not make your character interesting by eating crap. And he wasn't a good villain at all. He was just like, okay, you make me uncomfortable, but like, I don't feel any high stakes with this dude. Oh, I'm crazy. I eat bugs. I kill people. I'm crazy. It's like, okay, I can go to California, Los Angeles, walk around one of those streets, and I'll find 100 people just like you, Mr. Crazy Guy. He wasn't an interesting villain. He wasn't a good villain. And if you're in a superhero movie, the biggest thing that drives a superhero movie is the supervillain. This guy, I don't even know his name, with all the studs in his face, weirdo dude, was not a good villain. The next thing I didn't like was the whole Krypton storyline as well, from Kara's point of view, from Kara's family. They doubled down on one of the biggest mistakes of the Superman movie, on Jor-El being a bad guy, sending off Kal-El to conquer Earth, to become Earth's god. They doubled down on that stupid shit intentionally. They didn't have to mention it at all. Like, they know that pissed off so many people when the Superman movie came out. They're like, this can't be real. That's not Jor-El. That's not Jor-El's character. That's not Kal-El's character. That's not who they are. That's not who Bradley Cooper is. He's not evil. But it was like, fuck, man. They doubled down on that shit. It was stupid. And it was like, oh, but Jor-El's brother, he's a good guy. He made the little force field around a small part of Krypton. Another thing that I was confused about with that whole Kryptonian stuff is that it was inconsistent with what I know about Kara and Clark Kent, like their lore. Clark Kent is supposed to be younger than Kara, right? There's some weird time thing going on, but in this one, Clark Kent was like naturally older than her. He was old. He got shot off as a baby from Krypton before it exploded. Bubble around Krypton, 8 years past, then Kara's born. And then Kara gets sent off. That's not how it goes, right? From my understanding, I'm not a big Supergirl nerd. I don't know all the lore, but from my understanding is that they kind of like separated at the same time-ish, and like Kara was cognizant for this planet blowing up. Along those lines as well, I thought maybe I'm just wrong, so if I am, just like mute this point, but I thought that Kara was like there and saw everyone else except her die. That's why she was so traumatized. That's why she was getting drunk all the time or whatever. In this one, she's kind of living happily ever after for 15 years or whatever it is. I don't even know. The timeline doesn't make sense. And then everyone starts kind of getting the plague, the kryptonite plague, and everyone is dying around her. And sure, that's traumatic. And then she gets sent off. But like, I thought it was, okay, I just saw everyone just blow up, and then I got sent off. I didn't think there was that little happy in quotation marks, bit with her and her family living happily ever after in their cool little dome that her dad built, because her dad is so much better than Kal-El, apparently. A much better person than Kal-El, apparently. So stupid. But it's whatever. I'm not a Supergirl nerd. I don't know the facts around her, so that point could be wrong. And if it is, let me know in the comments. So yeah, I guess to finish up that point, I didn't think Supergirl was traumatized enough. Like, she was getting drunk for her birthday. Oh my god, my life sucks. But like, I don't know. She kind of got shot off. She didn't watch her parents die. Oh, her mom she did. But she got out of there before like everyone died around her. And then she wasn't even born. Yeah, she wasn't even born for Krypton exploding. So she was born after her Krypton was in a bubble. So that doesn't make sense. I thought, yeah. So she didn't watch Krypton blow up, which would be traumatic and make me want to drink myself into a stupor every single day. But it's whatever. Next thing, what the heck is going on with this 13-year-old girl that I can't even remember her name? I can suspend my belief, but it only goes so far. Superpowers, that's great. That's been explained. I know the superpowers of Kara. I know her strengths, her weaknesses, what she can do. So when she was doing these cool things, I was like, yeah, that's Supergirl. That's so cool. She can do these things. But when a 13-year-old nobody is able to strangle a dude in a jail cell, she's 90 pounds, taking on a 250-pound tank, and she's able to win. What else did she do? She was able to jump up into the vents, which is a 20-foot vertical, not 20 foot, like a 12-foot vertical up into the vents. It's like, how did you get up there twice? And then another thing is when she was falling off the damn ship, and then at first I was like, how the hell is she holding on? And she was wrapped up in the cord. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. Her torso is supported by the cord. But then she goes on to unravel from the cord, and she's hanging from one hand. I'm like, I can't even hang from one hand, and I can bench 299 pounds. No, I can't. But you get my point. A 13-year-old girl is not hanging by one hand, flying through the air without falling and dying. Like, these things, yes, it's small stuff, and you're complaining about that stuff, and Kara's got laser eyes. That's not realistic. That's not the point. The point is that stuff has been explained before. A 13-year-old girl taking on a 250-pound linebacker cannot be explained away. Unless she has some secret superpowers, but she doesn't. She's just a random person. So I was like, okay, what are we doing here? And they were kind of all over the place theme-wise. It was like, Kara was like, oh, don't get revenge, it won't help you at all. And then Kara kills the dude right after she walks away. And like, it was just like all over the place. And it was like, be kind but not nice. And it was like, okay, like, yes, there is a distinction between kind and nice, and good and pretending to be good. It's like, yes, that's a thing. But like, I don't know. It was just weird. Like, they didn't know what their morality was, because these people who make these things, that's what their morality is. It's like all over the place. They don't know what's going on, because like one day they're we got to protect women, and then the next day they're ignoring hundreds of thousands of women in Europe being raped and murdered because their rapists and murderers were immigrants. It's like these people, they don't know what they believe. So, and I feel like that rubbed off in this movie as well, where it's like the morality, the theming is just kind of all over the place. That was my quick little tangent. But apart from that, there was a ton wrong with this movie, and it just wasn't a very good movie at all. But I like to give this stuff a fair chance, so I decided to pick out a few things that I did like about this. Number one being, I liked the way that Milly Alcock looked. I liked the way that Supergirl looked. She's a good fit for Supergirl, I think. You can only do so well with what you're given, material-wise, you know? And I think Milly Alcock is a good Supergirl. I like the way she looks. I like her suit. I like her acting abilities, her attitude towards it. A lot of people are saying that she's ugly. Like, dude, go touch some grass if you think that Milly Alcock is ugly. It's like she's not. She's a beautiful young lady. And no, I'm not just saying that because she's blonde and I'm into blondes. Calm down, people. But I thought she did a fine job. I thought she looked fine as Supergirl, and I enjoyed her. The movie, on the other hand, I did not enjoy. The other thing that I thought was okay was Lobo was all right. I'm like, the more and more I see of Jason Momoa, the more and more I'm like, whatever. But he did a good job as Lobo. I don't know anything about Lobo. This was my first time ever seeing Lobo. And it was like, okay, he's a pretty cool character that they kind of just threw in there to try and stir up a little bit of comic book fan hype, you know. And the other thing I liked was the scenes with Superman. But all of those, they just seemed like they were scenes that they tossed in there after the fact. All those scenes were just Superman and Kara. They were like little flashback things, like in small environments, and they very much stood out apart from every other part of the movie. It seemed very put in there after the fact, which I think is what happened after some test screenings. People were like, this is terrible. So then they were like, all right, let's put Superman in there more. Those were that was the only time I laughed throughout the movie, was when Superman was talking to Kara in English, and Kara's like, I don't understand you, bro, in her language. And then Superman's like, oh, you don't understand me. Shoot. He like said shoot really, really loudly. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Superman, not swearing. So I liked his parts in it, but those were just like thrown in there after the fact. It's like, who, like, as a top-down decision of, okay, your movie that you guys made kind of sucks. Let's throw Superman in there as well to try and save it. It didn't save it, but those were the only parts that I really, like, those stood out more than the rest. And I was like, I like these parts because I like Superman. I like David Cornsweet as Superman. And the last thing, I thought the action was pretty cool. I didn't like how they tried to copy the little Mr. Terrific part with the needle drop fight stuff, but there was like a lot of fights, and a lot of it was pretty cool, but honestly exhausting at some points because they were leaning on it pretty heavily. But some of it was pretty cool action, seeing Supergirl be Supergirl. I was like, all right, this is pretty neat. She's a cool character. She would have been a great installation later on. You know, like after Man of Tomorrow, Superman does his thing and then just mentions that he has a cousin, and everyone's like, what? You have a cousin? What? You didn't tell us. And he's like, yeah, she's off partying on another planet like usual. And then we can roll into, you know, a Supergirl movie. Hopefully one that was better than this. But like, even if it was just this, I think it would have done better than now, being one of the cornerstones of this new James Gunn DC universe. It doesn't work. So that being said, what is my review of this movie? It's very sad. Yeah, I think this is the lowest I've ever rated a movie on here, but I have to give it Supergirl 2026. I have to give it a 4.5 out of 10. 4.5 out of 10. I know it's pretty darn low, but it was pretty darn bad. And it was not a great movie at all. It was very cringe at some points and tolerable at other points, but I would not recommend it, to be honest. It was just meh. It was meh and mediocre and at its worst bad. But yeah, that's my review on it, my thoughts on it. What do you guys think? Have you seen this movie and are you as harsh on it as I am? Or are you harsher? Do you think this could have survived if it was later on or no? I mean, like, James Gunn's DC universe was never going to reach that far, but even still, if it did, this Supergirl movie probably would have been better later down the line. Yeah, any of your thoughts, let me know those down in the comments. I love reading through them and hearing what you guys have to say. But apart from that, I know this was a longer video, but if you got this far into it and you liked what you saw, please leave a like. It really does help out a lot more than you guys know. So yeah, make sure to do that and then check out my channel to see if there's anything else that you like. I have all sorts of stuff over there. Apart from that, that's all I really had to talk about for this Supergirl movie. I'm not hopeful for the future of James Gunn's DC universe. I don't think it's going to last very long. And I don't know. But I will continue to cover that sort of thing as these movies come out. But that's it. I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I will see you in the next video. All right, bye.